And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna build the base on Facebook. And Facebook is where we're gonna spend our money. Why? Because you can't really spend money on Twitter advertising unless you're gonna sponsor a tweet. You're not really gonna find the people of value to you, right? So here I've gotten, we're gonna use the scuba diving concept again. Targeting, so I went in there. Who here's done Facebook ads actually? I'd like to know. So good, a lot of people. So for me, I was like, okay, I'm gonna go into scuba, I'm gonna set up my ad, and I'm gonna target every scuba diving website out there. My ad is only gonna show to people who have expressed interest in other scuba sites. And so that's the targeting that I did. And it's a high conversion, right? It's a high conversion because I already know that they're interested in scuba diving, and that's great, and that's fantastic. So here's my little kind of Facebook page for it, and I grew it to almost 10,000 people for under $700. I first made the mistake, though, of putting my bid in at 50 cents, right? So my average CPC was 24 cents. And then I was like, oh, this is not cool. Like, this is my money. This is not Microsoft's money. I don't want to do this. So I said, hey, to heck with it. I'm going to put in a bid of 4 cents, right? And so what I noticed is with 4 cents bid, I'm getting slow, steady growth versus quick, expensive growth, right? So now I just have it set every day. I'm paying $30 a day, probably getting, it depends on how the ads are doing that day. But now my conversion's great. So I've got, a 65% conversion. So it kind of works out to about 6 or 7 cents per member, right? How awesome is that? Where else on the web can you really do that? I'm not doing banner ads. I'm not going to do PPC. I'm going to put it all in Facebook, and I'm getting the right users. I'm getting very interactive people. I put a comment up there. 20 minutes later, there's 50 comments in there, right? And so what I've done now is I've grown my Twitter and I've grown my Facebook, but now I've got my other site here. So that's the blog, and I have the call to action in the upper right to go to the community. So there's the main blog, and then there's the community, which is built on Ning, right? So, on Ning, you have forums, you have videos, you have pictures, you have chat, you got so many things, you got groups. So I said, well, how can I get people from Facebook and Twitter onto this? I want them to engage here now, right? I've done my duty of growing and finding my people in a cheap way, right? I don't want to go put banner ads on scuba.com because that's going to cost me 10 grand a month. But I've done it for $700, and I've got almost 10,000 people. So what are the things I'm going to do to get these people over into my forum? I want them to upload videos, upload photos. So I was like, okay, maybe I'm going to run a little contest. I'm going to say, hey, upload photos, and we're going to give away a $50 whatever gift card a week. That actually didn't really work. People didn't really want the $50 gift card. It was really weird. I was like, wow, how can you guys not want this? And so, anyways, what I started doing is I started creating the forum questions in the forum, and then I started asking them in Facebook. I said, have you ever lost a weight while scuba diving? Answer in the forum, please discuss, right? And of course, people ignored it and started commenting on Facebook. And I said, no, guys, man, help everyone out. Comment in the forum, because your answers are going to get lost on the Facebook page. I told them this. I said, your answers are going to get lost, guys. Go into the forum, archive it so other people can use it as a resource. And guess what? They did it. They went out there and they started commenting. And so I started doing it slowly. I said once a day. I want to get my Facebook fans and Twitter fans familiar with the site. I don't want to spam them too much. I said once a day, let's go into the forum, let's go here. Let's try and, I'll take a photo from the Ning and I'll put it up on the site. I'll say go comment in the community. And it was great. And I went from, and I don't know if you guys know Ning, but I went from 0 to almost 1,000 members just with this method. Right? I didn't want to do the Facebook ads because when you send someone to a third-party website of a Facebook ad, your conversion goes so much more down. Keeping them in Facebook, saying, hey, just like the page, I've got you, I've got your ear now. Now let's talk about how we can create this kind of environment for ourselves on the Ning, on the community, in the forums. And it's something that really did work, and I was just, it's a really good use case here. I mean, I did it for $700, which I think is pretty good. And that, this is only literally under 2 months old. So it's not very old at all, and it's very engaging. People are interactive, they're commenting now, they're posting videos, they're posting photos. They're finally writing blogs, because you can write your own blog on Ning. I was like, why don't people write blogs? And I said, my guys, write a little quick tech blog post about, tech scuba diving, put it up there and ask people to do their own blog post. The next day I woke up to 7 blog posts, which might not be a lot to you guys, but I was about to cry. I was like, yes, they finally get it. And so yeah, that's kind of the methodology that I've been using for using social media to grow your community and to get engagement in your third-party communities. So that's kind of what I have to say. If you have any questions, you can hit me up on the Twitter.
How do you track sentiment on your forums?
I'm not quite there for my forums yet for doing sentiment, but for sentiment, usually I use, in other businesses, I use Radiant 6 or tools like that will just kind of set the terms and they'll show me sentiment that way.
And do you think they're accurate?
No. I feel they're not. But that's all I have, right? I sit there in front of Radiant 6 every day and I'm like, I hate you. Your numbers change, I don't know what you're doing. I talk to my rep, I'm like, is this all you got for me? I'm telling my boss, these numbers are changing, I don't understand. So, I mean, I do get frustrated with those tools, so I think that definitely in the future there'll be better tools for us to track stuff like that. But for me, yeah, I just have problems with especially with numbers that change and fluctuate weekly. Especially, and the reason I'm saying that is my share of voice one week will be like 9,000, then I'll go check back the next week for the same week that I had the 9,000 and it'll be 5,000. So it doesn't make sense to me.
What is your drop rate, if you know yet, on Facebook ads to grow fans? Because I've been in the Twitter beta since November and was able to grow my account to 10,000 in 2 weeks. But of course, well, I shouldn't get it. We're still in beta. But of course, if you don't follow back, there's a whole drop rate. So what's your experience on Facebook? When you get fans and you pay for them, do you have any evidence on how long they stay? Are they engaged? Because I noticed what I'm seeing on Twitter is when you pay for fans, they're not necessarily if you don't follow back, they're not necessarily.
Yeah, so for Facebook, for tracking stuff like that, I mean, I have this rule for my site. I'll post every hour. For my Microsoft site, we'll only post twice a day.
Okay.
I tend to see that I don't really lose people unless I'm posting too much. But for me, my strategy for the scuba site is like, yeah, I'm gonna post once an hour, and if you don't like it, then I don't want you to be my fan because I only want hardcore scuba divers. Because I'm gonna actually monetize this in 6 months. My goal is to do 5,000 memberships at $5 a month, which is 25 grand a month. But of course, put it back into the community, offer trips weekly. But that's the goal, right? So I already know my strategy. I already know that I want people to pay in the future. So that's kind of like, if I lose people, then I feel like they're not probably my target audience.
You have a longer term rather than the short term.
Yeah, it's longer term. Yeah.
Are you using a tool to post automatically?
On Facebook?
Yeah.
No, it's all.
That's what I thought. You can't.
No.
Because I manage some Facebook.
I'm always on my phone.
So you mean you are every hour actually physically posting? Yeah,
or I have a friend who will help me out that I've managed. I mean, like once this grew, people started just flying to me, asking to help out because in the scuba world, there's nothing really like this. There's nothing where you can go and share and upload photos and stuff like that.
You got time for one more question?
One more question.
Did you offer an incentive on your Facebook ads to get them to like your page, or?
It's funny because I just actually 2 days ago got Facebook best practices from Facebook for ads, and they said incentivize. But I don't really do that. I think my thing was like, come check us out, share and explore. This is like, yeah, there's a call to action, but there's no really incentive that I really use. I really kind of lean back on the targeting and know that I'm already targeting hardcore scuba divers and it's working, right? So like 6-7 cents a member, not too bad.